Hi, this is Kayla again, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about people with narcissism. The person that I was dealing with, I believe, was so progressed in his narcissism that he was borderlining psychopathy. I've done a lot of research on this topic lately. I've watched videos by clinical psychologists and have learned that narcissism is actually on a spectrum. So it starts out with narcissism, and then it progresses to malignant narcissism, and then the end stage of this is psychopathy. So I believe that I was dealing with a malignant narcissist. But what I wanted to kind of talk about was that it's almost like when you're dealing with these people, they have such spiritual dark forces that are inside of them. I personally choose to call them demons, but you know, you can decide for yourself what you want to call that. And it's almost like the demons inside of them jump into you and cause you to react in a way that you never would. You know, especially if you are like a strong person and you kind of know your self-worth. I feel like people like that will tend to fight back because we know that it's not okay to tell us that we're less than them, you know, that they're more superior than us. We know we have good self-worth, so we know that. Now, there is an unfortunate situation where people that don't have as good of self-worth will just take the abuse, and probably are less likely to fight back against it, and ultimately probably remain stuck in the situation longer. So that being said, I tended to fight back because I knew that I was worth more than what he was telling me I was. He belittled me, he put me down, made me feel bad for anything and everything, always comparing me to himself and how much better he was than me. And you know, he would make a lot of generalizations about groups of people and how they have specific traits that were not good, so he had to proclaim his superiority. And so, you know, this happened all the time. I mean, it was never not happening. Another thing that came out all the time was gaslighting. It is horrible to be gaslit. It is the worst feeling ever. Basically, you try to talk to the narcissist about what he did to you, and he completely denies everything. And not only does he deny it, he will turn it around and make it your fault. I mean, blame you for everything. And I don't know if you can imagine this or put yourself in the shoes of someone that's going through this. But, I mean, it's enough of a problem just to not be heard and for someone to say that they didn't hurt you. But for them to say they didn't hurt you and then turn around and blame you and make it look like it's your fault, that is going to make you really angry. And so that made me really angry. And, you know, over and over again, I would try to hold my composure and not flip out on this person. But as a human being, it is like inevitable that at some point you're gonna snap, and that's exactly what happened to me. And there are times where I snapped so bad, it was like the demon that came out of him to abuse me got inside of me, and I became like really scary and aggressive. And I mean, it was like there was it like ripped open the bottom of my soul like a knife and let out this darkness like out of me that I've never even seen. So like my view of it is that basically like his demons ripped a hole in me, and then it jumped into my heart and soul and spirit and aura. So okay, so then when that happens, you're basically set in the trap, and good luck, because the demon now is in you. And so what happened for me is I ended up reacting back to him, and that's exactly what the narcissist wants. They want you to react and do something so that they can hold it over your head and they will have power over you. They will tell you you're crazy. They'll start attacking your mental health. They will tell you that you're a psych issue and that you need to go get help for yourself. And at that point, you probably do need some help, because these people break you down spiritually, emotionally, mentally, so deeply that you probably really, truly need to seek professional help. I did. I was very broken from this person. So anyways, they will use everything against you. Now for me, it started out with just verbal things that I said back to him, and then it started getting even worse. I mean, it progressed to me. I started like breaking things. I threw something at him one time, and then one of the most extreme situations, I ended up biting him, and then they totally use this to their advantage. I mean, once you react, they have their ammo, and they have got you stuck in the trap. This happened to me where he held it over my head, and since I reacted, now he could put me in jail over it. So he held it over my head. The first time, I like ended up throwing a cable box at him because he was so horrible to me. He would tell me how my dad was probably fingered me, and that I sucked his dick when I was a baby, like a little child, and just horrifying things. He would tell me that my family didn't love me, and that I was ugly, and that no one would ever want to be with me. And it's very hurtful. He called me a slob and just said that he used every vulnerability I ever told him and used it against me. So I got really upset. I mean, I don't know any human being who literally could like withstand that without getting extremely angry. So I hit him with a cable box, and literally I went to jail. For the first time in my entire life, I went to jail for battery. And in my opinion, I was protecting myself, defending myself against this abuse, this insidious, complicated mind game that this person was playing with me. So that was the first time, and thankfully he dropped the charges on me, but it was horrifying. I mean, it felt so bad. And so the next thing is, this guy, of course, he tried to get me back after this happened. These people are so manipulative that they will tell you anything. I mean, he stalked me. He called me hundreds of times from block numbers. He impersonated some other person in text messages. I mean, I have countless, like, phone numbers he would use after I blocked him, and he would use another phone number. And he was just trying to get me back in his grips. And the whole insidious thing that they do is they will literally break you down so you're so emotionally weak that you feel like you're stuck with them, and that you actually start believing that you did something wrong, and that and then the only thing that makes you feel better is their attention, and it's so terrible. So they find these ways to rope you back in, and it's really easy to fall back into the cycle of abuse again. And especially if you like thought that you loved this person, or if you are a truly genuine person and you wanted to help them. You know, for me, I thought the best for this person. I mean, I tried so many times to help this person and lead him in the right direction, to get a career, to get into therapy, to go to church, to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, everything. And it just use and abuse. So I fell in the trap of wanting to help him. So I kept doing that. And it totally was not worth it. It ended up putting me in a very bad situation. So anyways, so the instance where I bit him, I ended up leaving his house 2 times that night. And he would call me and tell me, come back over, everything's gonna be fine. And so after the first time I left, I went back over. And of course, he gaslit me again, denied all of my feelings. I mean, I was bawling and crying in front of him, and he just didn't care at all. He still denied me. Like, I'm literally bawling my eyes out, and he denied that he did anything, and then he flipped it around and turned it on me and said it was all my fault. I mean, this is enough to make someone want to go insane on person. I believe that if I was a guy, I probably would have beat him up so much. I mean, but you know, then he's gonna call the cops, and of course you're gonna be the bad guy. You know, this is the scenario, this is the setup that these people want. They want you to look like the abuser at all costs. They cannot be the ones found out to be the real abuser, and they will remain calm and not react back because that's their way of getting power and control. So anyways, so we have a fight. I leave his house 2 times, and I go back home and I tell him, do not come to my house, do not come here, I do not want to see you, this is gonna end up bad. I was already angry, and I was like, do not come to my house. What does he do? He comes to my house. He comes to my house and starts fighting with me. I try to ignore him and not react to him. I mean, I really, really tried very hard not to react to him. I left the situation so many times. He would sitting on the porch. I would go inside the house, get away from him. He would follow me everywhere I went. He would follow me and provoke me and provoke me and provoke me. And finally, I literally snapped. I bit him, and I could not control myself. I literally couldn't. Like, I hated him so much. And then the rest of the night, he literally held it over my head all night long. He said he was going to call the police on me. He said I have to do everything that he wants, and I had to sleep with him. I had to listen to him. I mean, everything. He literally verbally and mentally, emotionally abused me for 30 minutes on my front porch while I was praying to Jesus that I do not react, because I did not want to go to jail again. I mean, it was horrible. I suffered so much post-traumatic symptoms after that. I mean, I could not think straight at work. I couldn't even type normally. All the same things I type every day, that's a classical type of thing that I would put in my documentation for work. I mean, I couldn't even write a sentence. My mind was shattered by his abuse. And mind you, I was praying for protection against this and trying not to listen to it. The next day, I literally had to call my boss to get me out of the house. He threatened to call the police on me and wouldn't let me go to work. I mean, my boss had to come over and get him out of my house so I could take a shower and go to work. It was awful. I mean, I had post-traumatic symptoms for at least 4 to 6 weeks after that. I mean, it was bad. I mean, I have lost so much sleep over this guy. It's incredible. And so anyways, now that biting incident happened in June, and it's now December 6th, 2018. I am currently battling a battery charge against him from June, which was a retaliation because I put a protective order in place against him, which is the 3rd protective order I've filed against him. The previous 2 he convinced me to drop, and thankfully I'm strong enough at this point to keep this going. There is more to the story than this, and I will make another video soon. If you're watching this, please get out of this narcissistic relationship if you're in it. They are not going to change no matter what you try. They will not change. I was told this 2 years before right now, and it's true. They are not going to change. They're deeply, deeply broken people. They're spiritually sick, and I don't know, I just don't think that they're gonna get better in this lifetime. They'll probably ruin everything they ever come across. Children, partners, everything. So please, please get out while you can. Get out. Love you. Bye.